There's been so much going on. I figure it's a good time to check in on the free to play. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on the free to pause account because there has been a lot going on. We've been pulling some shards. I know many of you guys saw the video over the weekend where I got a new Valkyrie. I have another legendary I have pulled recently as well, and got a bunch of stuff going on for the event. So I figured I would talk to you guys about the free to play, where I am as of, well, today is Sunday, but where the free-to-play is currently at, some of my plans for champions in the future, things I want to focus on, and how I am making the best of what has happened with me so far. First of all, I want to point out how weird my luck has been on this account. Most of the legendaries I have gotten on this account have been absolutely amazing, and they have not necessarily been the top tier legendaries in their category, but they have been good legendaries for what I need for the account. And honestly, there are a lot of good legendaries. There's a lot of people that talk about there's so many legendaries that are trash in this game. And there are definitely several trash legendaries. But there's a good chance for an early to mid game account. Most legendaries will be usable in some way, shape, or form, if for no other reason than they are already a 5-star and they are capable of doing something like damage or some support function without a lot of major investment for faction war. That said, there's also a bunch of legendaries that are just not really that great or not worth investing in, and it's going to really depend on you and your account. But there are plenty of epics that are worth investing in on a lot of these accounts, and that's actually one of the weird, frustrating things I have had. As we are here in the Faction Guardians, you can see I've got one set of dupes here in Bannerlords. I am done with my High Elves and Epics. I'm almost done with my Sacred Order. I'm getting close to being done with the Barbarians, almost done with Ogryn, done with Lizardmen, getting closer on Skinwalkers and Orcs, got some demon spawns here, done with undead hordes. We're almost full up on a lot of these things here. In fact, there's very few of them that I am below 8 on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I am below 8 of 10 on. 5 of the 15 factions I have 8 of 10 or 10 of 10 duplicate epics. And that is absolutely nuts, because I can tell you right now, I don't have more than half of the epics that are in this game. I just don't. And I've got triplicates of some of these epics, and it has definitely been kind of frustrating. But that is the game of RNG. You're sometimes going to get good stuff. You're sometimes going to get bad stuff. This account, well, I am making the most of it because, hey, I am not going to complain about getting 6 extra speed, 10% extra defense, 10% extra attack, 10% extra HP, and 15 accuracy and resistance for my High Elves. And for example, I know Skaramis, who I am using, needs accuracy and resistance. These extra 15 points are huge. This extra 6 points of speed is actually pretty helpful. I've got 2 High Elf epics that I'm currently using, but once I get a Royal Guard is going to get something out of this too. He'll be very good as well. You know, there are other epics that are going to be useful that I'll eventually get stuff out of with this. Knights Revenants, well, at some point in time, I might be able to +1 my Whisper, because Whisper is actually really good. I've got Dawncaller. She's doing a great job. I do have a +1 Rector now, who's been great. Honestly, I probably should have built a second Rector rather than +1ing her. But once I get another Rector, I'll have a second ability to build another Rector to give me some more Veils to help with the fears as well. So it is nice to have those extra stats. So do make sure that if you are getting duplicate epics, you're not necessarily feeding them or instantly plussing some of your epics. Make sure you are doing the Faction Guardians. That is a huge power boost on the account. Now, as far as these Donnie pizza points are concerned, as you can see, I've kind of gone hard, and I didn't intentionally go hard, and it will ease up a bit as we continue going on. But I had a bunch of events I was able to do, and it made sense for me to do them on the account, so I did them. And as a result, I'm almost at the 3-star soul right here for Donnie, which is going to be great. I'm hoping I might be able to get the last laugh, but I am not going to go out of my way to get this. Honestly, this legendary book would be great too, but the relic materials are good, and there's some decent stuff once we start getting into milestone 4. The Starstone could be usable, although I'm not really worried about it on this account yet. Random epic gems could be good. I'm short on gems on some of these things. Chaos Dust is hard for me to farm. Soulstones, the bigger Soulstones are really hard to get on this account, so that makes some sense as well. And if I end up getting in here and being like this 3-star basalt, I'm not going to complain too much, but I don't expect to get the 5-star soul on this account. And part of that's because, for example, I don't expect to actually finish any of the points for this dungeon diver event here. I did do the gear enhancement event because I had to build some champions. In fact, I may end up getting this skill tome, and if I don't, that's fine because I'm running low on silver. But I wanted the extra ancient shard. I figured I might as well get some of these pizza points. I wanted this mortal soul stone back when there was a 2x mortal soul stone for the 4, 5, and 6-star souls. And so I went for it, and I had the gear to roll up, and I had the silver to do it. Now I don't have the silver to do it because I spent it on rolling up gear, but I now have several champions that have been built out that were waiting to be built out as well, so that was very, very helpful. And we've done the champion training event. I've gone very, very hard into this. I have made 2 6-stars. I certainly would not mind forcing my way up to this level 6 basalt, but I am just running low on resources. So other than maybe seeing if I can get these 50 radiant sun lilies, which would be kind of nice since I'm kind of close already. I'm at 10,211 points here, and I need, basically another 1,000 points. I might be able to get another 1,000 points with just a little bit of effort, but I do have to be careful because, again, I am low on brews now. I've got plenty of champions to train, but I am low on gems as well. So there is a limited amount of stuff I can do to get more energy, more gems, and train up champions as well. But I've made 2 6-stars. I have made myself a 6-star Michelangelo. He's going to be very good. I haven't quite ascended him yet. I need to do some potion farming at some point, but that has not been a high priority for me. But he is built. He is built okay-ish, but he's actually been pretty helpful. I've already been using him in Centranos a little bit. He was a good upgrade from what I was using in the Banner Lords for Faction Wars. Sped that up quite a bit as well. And of course, I've got Valkyrie built. I've got 2 different builds for her, and I am admittedly debating which one I want to use. If we go take a look at the fitting room right here. So let's get the fitting room and the preset manager. I have this build right here where I've got, 4,000 defense right now. Now she's only level 50, so this will get up to closer to 5,000 once I get her up to level 60. And, she's got some accuracy and some speed, and she does some damage. And I'm kind of hoping this one will work well for now, but I think if I move her into my clan boss, I'm actually probably going to be moving over to this build right here, which is going to get me another 1,000 to maybe 1,200 defense as this defense number continues to go up, and gives me more accuracy as well, which means I might be a little more usable for me in, say, an arena build as well. Plus I can actually still glyph some of this stuff up, so the speeds can certainly go up a little bit as well. And in fact, if I do that build as well, I will probably then actually fully move over to this build, get myself a bit more accuracy as well, and get that extra speed and extra defense as well, because this is a defense amulet as opposed to a crit damage amulet as well. And we'll kind of play around with clan boss and see if I can replace Tyrant with Valkyrie and if that makes sense. The big thing I am waiting for getting Valkyrie involved is she is currently not booked, and that's part of why I have her in the reflex and damage build right now, because with this on a 4-turn cooldown, this is not as useful as it could be. But with basically 3 turns to possibly trigger this 40% cooldown chance, or I guess 2 turns, but I've got a good enough chance of getting this to trigger to not have to wait full 3 turns for this, that maybe I get this on a 3 turns most of the time. And since this is the only skill that's ever on cooldown, with this reflex gear, it's going to be very, very valuable for Valkyrie as well. So I think that's going to be good overall. And she does decent damage as well, so I can't downplay that too much. But I do need to make sure that she has enough accuracy, because I do have, the other thing I did too is I put the Gilded Dragonstone on her. I don't know how great this is going to be, but increasing the defense by 1% for every time they receive defense, it's already going to be up to a 14% maximum defense. Given her shields are defense powered, 14% extra defense of her total defense, because that's how this is going to creep up, is going to be pretty massive, especially if I've got a total of 5,000 or even 6,000 defense on the Valk. And those shields are powered by defense and very, very strong. And since I don't have increased defense on the team, if I pull out my Tyrant, well, then that is certainly going to be a bit of a problem for getting huge shields and lasting longer in Clan Boss if I don't get that extra defense. So again, ways to increase your defense, absolutely amazing. Probably if I'm not using her in that particular content explicitly, I might need to find a different relic for her. But overall, I think that's going to make Valk very, very interesting. And as soon as I can get this booked, which to be fair, I only have about 4 or 5 books right now, so I don't have enough to even finishing booking this up. And I could get unlucky and get random books in this skill as well. So it's something we're certainly saving up for. Speaking of other legendaries that I've gotten, I have pulled Donatello. I again was able to get within 500 points of getting the relic materials for relics, and since those legendary relic materials are really, really good, I figured you might not pop my Donatello because he's going to help this account a ton as well. Now he's going to struggle with books for a while because I do need to book him as well, and I'm going to certainly need to decide whether or not I book Valkyrie or I book Donatello first, and that's kind of an interesting one. Feel free, guys, to let me know in the comments down below who you would book first, Valkyrie or Donatello. As far as overall impact on my account, there's a good chance Donatello might be a better book, so maybe he will get the books ahead of Valk. Otherwise, Valkyrie getting into my Clan Boss team means that maybe I can get a more consistent 2-key and maybe 3-key on Force with Valk over Tyrant. I think that would overall be a very good improvement to my account, but it's a very niche one, and I don't even know if it's going to work or not. Versus Donatello, I do know he is going to be absolutely amazing. So if we go here to the preset manager, because I do have some presets here, I want to put him in Relentless. I would like to get his resistance up. Now you'll notice this is not a lot of resistance, and that's fine. I will have a resistance banner on him as well, so I'll be up to 250, closer to 300 resistance. Plus, once I glyph this out, I can probably get another 40 or 50 resistance on him, and I have not worked a lot on the resistance in my Great Hall either. So getting the resistance done in the Great Hall will help me quite a bit with building Donnie. And again, he's not fully rolled up with all this stuff here, and he's only 5 stars right now, so he might get more resistance as I move him to a 6-star. So, you know, it is what it is. I think it's going to be fun getting him in this Relentless gear. He'll constantly be taking turns, and then with his skills here, and to be fair, he only needs 3 books here and 3 books here. So as long as I'm landing here and not getting anything in this here, I'm going to be just fine. I haven't built him for damage, but you know, and he'll certainly be a little bit faster as well. And I think that having a reset champion on this account is going to be great, and having him in Relentless is going to be very helpful as well, because that's going to get him back to that reset skill that much faster, whatever that procs. He's going to help me in Hydra. He might actually help me in Chimera. He's going to help me for some of the dungeons I'm going to be working on. He is an absolute beast of a champion. I think he might even be useful in Arena. So I am looking forward to having a Donatello on this account and building him, which is great. Meanwhile, I've got Lammasu. She is done, other than obviously I want to get her to 60. She is mostly booked. She does need 1 more book here to get this to a 3-turn cooldown, but otherwise she's still good, and she is certainly usable, and I could certainly start using her in Hydra. I have not yet, but I think I may look for ways to move her into a Hydra team next time Hydra starts up, but since I've run most of my keys now for Hydra, it's probably not going to happen this time. Again, I've got her in Cruelty. I don't think Cruelty is necessarily the best blessing for her, but because she has this AoE A1, I figured that would be a decent one for her to have. Honestly, I don't know what's the best blessing for her. It's probably going to depend on what I am doing. Sheep is certainly another interesting option as well, because I have been using her in Arena quite a bit as well, because this ability here to add 50% turn meter basically is almost an instant activation, and it's very discount Shuzen, but she gives me a speed aura in Arena that is very useful. She gives me the ability to crowd control with fears, which works very well with my Fabian, if I can get my Fabian in, and works fairly well with Morgaine, who also can use some fears as well. And it's a great general control, and then block buffs is great as well, so not going to complain about that. And yeah, she's got a decent passive and overall useful skills for Arena, so I've been having fun using her for Arena. Meanwhile, I've got Krokod here built. He is almost done, as you can see here. He's actually done. Okay, I actually want to go and grab this mastery here for him, and I have my doggo done. So he is not built extremely well. I would certainly like to get a lot more crit damage on him. Some of that stuff may be easier because if I can get an extra 12 crit damage here and an extra 20 crit damage here, that is going to be pretty huge. I do have the coronet on him at the moment, which might be okay, but maybe I should actually swap that out for some crit damage increases as well. Although again, 30% extra damage overall, still going to be very helpful compared to 30% more crit damage. So yeah, it's probably the right thing I want to have on him. So is he built amazing? No, but again, this is a limitation of how much gear I have on this account, but he is usable. He is usable for some wave clear stuff. He has been fun in Faction Wars. I think I may play around with using him in Hydra as well, because even if he's not doing an absolute ton of damage, and to be fair, he's not booked as well, bringing Leech and Weaken into my Hydra teams is going to be very helpful overall, because it'll help keep my team alive just a little bit better, and it'll help me do just a little bit more damage on the teams that don't have Lydia on them, where I'm getting Weaken out there regularly. So looking at a brutal key that I ran this one live on Twitch. I actually posted on this last week where I ran the key, and I actually did get the full 1 key on brutal. This time I did not get a full 1 key and decided I didn't really want to rerun it, but I am capable of getting a 1 key on brutal Hydra. And in fact, my other teams here on hard, I was actually able to run this on full auto for 36 million on hard. I was actually surprised at that, and I'm getting quite a bit. In fact, here you can see here, I did almost 70 million on normal with a full team here on hard. So does that mean I'm going to be jumping up to Nightmare anymore soon? No, probably not. I need to reinforce my account just a little bit more. Some of these champions still need some books. Some of these champions need some masteries. I definitely would like to get better gear on some of these champions. I would like to start experimenting with things like cursed gear, if I can start getting that on a couple champions. I really do need some better provokers as well, and that's going to become more problematic as I move from brutal to Nightmare. But overall, I've made some pretty good progress here on Hydra, and in Chimera, I've been doing pretty well as well. I did 21 million this time. I've been able to do about 25 to 30 million on Brutal, so this Master Chest is within reach on this, and this is the first chest that gives you guaranteed Embreeze fragments. Up until then, it is 1, and you're not necessarily guaranteed to get a fragment from him, so once I can kind of get to getting this full key from Brutal and this full key from Hard, I will be much, much happier. That said, if we look into Chimera Clash right now, I am actually able to get a chest in Chimera Clash because I am doing 280-ish million overall points, which is going to get me at least the minimum chest for Chimera Clash, which is finally some kind of interesting reward. I really think that Polarium needs to make this lower level just a little bit more accessible for Chimera, because I shouldn't have to be going all the way up to doing Brutal and a good key on Hard to be able to qualify for that. I should just be doing Hard and maybe even Normal. It just doesn't feel like it's a particularly inclusive way to play. And finally, as somebody that really focuses on Faction Wars, I want to show you that I have done 0 stars on Faction Wars hard. In fact, I need to run some more Faction War keys. It was good I hopped into this. And I just want to tell you this because people that get Lydia are kind of probably going to hit a wall when they flip this over and try hard. And it is definitely a rude awakening. You might be able to get a few floors done occasionally on this, but don't expect to be doing a lot of hard Faction Wars until you get your count to a point where you're probably doing Nightmare Hydra and probably closer to Nightmare Chimera, honestly. That is probably the gear level and the account level you're going to need to be able to start doing some of these hard floors. These hard floors have minimum stats for speed for like 220 to 240, possibly a lot faster depending on how high you are up in them. They're going to require you to have over 300 to 350 accuracy. They're going to require you have more ignored defense. They're going to require you to have ways to control the waves, to outdamage your opponents. And it is very, very tough, especially if you just barely got Lydia by manualing a boss fight. Well, the next level is just going to wipe the clock with you, or wipe the floor with you, or clean your clock. You know, I like wipe the clock. It seems like an interesting metaphor. So don't push yourself too much on hard Faction Wars, and especially because I know that I'm not going to be able to solve hard Faction Wars anytime soon. Would I like to get to it at some point? Yes, because honestly, you get better materials for better perception gear, and you start getting better glyphs as well, so that's going to be good. Plus you get some of these relic materials, and even if I'm only getting rare relic materials, the ability to craft occasionally a nice rare relic in Faction Wars, not going to hurt too badly for this account. It will definitely help me progress, but it's not high on the things I must do. Because honestly, what I'm going to need is I'm going to need to have 6 stars as everybody in a particular faction. And I'm not there yet. I've got a couple factions where I've got 6 stars in all of them, but not a lot of them. And there's still several factions where I'm lacking damage, or I'm lacking healers, or I'm lacking support. And it's just been through sheer guile that I've managed to get Lydia in the first place. So I'm not worried too much about hard faction wars, and I don't think that an account that is progressing needs to focus too much on hard faction wars. You're going to get more out of beating Centranos further. You're going to get more out of getting further in Hydra. You're going to get more out of Chimera, and you're going to get more out of getting further in dungeons than you are going to get out of hard faction wars, at least very, very early on. Finally, I'd like to check in on the missions here. For Ramantu, I've got Fuse Rosin is the next thing I need to do. I am 1 rare short. I have been hoping for that rare pretty much every time I've been pulling Ancients. Honestly, anytime I'm pulling Mystery Shards as well, because you might get one in Mystery. You never know. But I am 1 short of doing Rosin, and then I can finally get past this. And honestly, I should be able to clear a bunch of these things until we finally get to the level 3 affinity bonuses, which I have been slacking on because I know I still need to fuse Rosin, and that's been a bit of a problem. The rest of these things, not a big deal at all. Doom Tower normal, floor 30. I'm already beating Doom Tower hard. Ice Golem, I can farm Ice Golem 25. That's not a problem. In fact, musically enough, Ice Golem Hard 1 is one of the things I need to start working on. And that's actually one of the things I think Donatello is going to help me with, because Donatello's passive to keep people alive is going to help me keep people alive for Ice Golem Hard. And I can push into Ice Golem Hard and beat it. I'd have to beat it 20 times and then I'm done. And I'm kind of waiting for a next Ice Golem tournament to really kind of focus on doing the hard version of this. And then from there, the rest of it is stuff I can honestly kind of do. Clear Iron Twins forces, do Hydra damage, Iron Twins again, Sand Devil stage 5. This really is, moving on. The Marius missions, I honestly might be able to get this Sacred Shard within, the next 2 to 3 weeks if I can push forward hard on these things just a little bit. Now I can see here there's like hard Ice Golem here, there's some hard Fire Knight, so maybe I might going to run into a few problems here with these, but some of these things I'm actually able to do, and I just need to make sure that I keep poking my head in here and checking and seeing where I'm at, because these are free rewards that I can get that could help my account if I'm paying attention to them and I'm making sure that I'm trying to do them whenever I can. And if I'm at a hard stop, then I should probably plan for ways to get around that hard stop, or what's the best thing to do for my account while I'm stuck at that hard stop. So there we go. My plans for the future for the free-to-play account. It's, this is kind of the spot where you're in a little bit of no man's land with Raid. You need to kind of find ways to go and where to progress. And Hydra is an easy option because Hydra, there's certainly stages I haven't conquered yet. Getting a better clan boss is very obvious, but some of the stuff is not so obvious because the dungeons, it's not necessarily the worst thing to be farming stage 20 from an efficiency standpoint. So oftentimes I've been farming stage 20 on most of the dungeons just to make sure I'm super efficient. Dragon, I'm farming hard stage 10 because I can actually do hard stage 10 reliably 100%. But I haven't moved into the other hard dungeons yet, and once I move into those other hard dungeons, that's going to make it a little more difficult to say, should I be running the hard and getting the much, much better gear, or should I be running stage 20 and just kind of getting good enough gear, or maybe stage 24 and compromising a little bit if I can get stage 24 to be 100%. Fire Knight is certainly difficult as well because stage 25 is the one I need to run because of affinity. So the sooner I can get into hard Fire Knight, the better. And that's something I'm certainly hoping that Valk will help me do as well. And that is one of the things that, it might have been disappointing for me, and I had to think about it. When I pulled Donnie, my other thought was possibly Yakarl. Yakarl is going to get me a chance to do an A1 freeze and some decreased speed and some other stuff that is very good for hard Fire Knight. But he's going to require books. And right now, Donnie is more important to book, probably Valk is more important to book, and maybe even Michelangelo is going to be more important to book. So without having the books to build a Yakarl, you Carl can sit in my vault for just a little bit longer before I get some of the other teams ready that we're going to look at before we actually move into Fire Knight Hard. So there's my free-to-play account in a nutshell. There's the progress for it. Hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully this was entertaining, and hopefully this was inspiring. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. You guys have been absolutely amazing. You guys have been killing it lately with all the videos you've been watching and all the support I have gotten. I love giving back to the community. I love talking with you guys. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. I love interacting with you in Discord and on Twitch. And I am super, super excited to keep on doing this stuff. I love talking Raid Shadow Legends, and I love helping you guys have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. So, appreciate you guys. You have a wonderful day. And until the next video, I am Bront CatHerder.